everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, is my co-host,
What it is?
Jose
Happy
Romero.
Nerd Thursday, my friends.
Thursday,
Thank
once
you.
again. No, yeah, come on, you gotta say wait. It's we record on Thursday, and we review all that is for the week in geek. That's it. We do it every
That's true.
the week in geek.
It's a big week. It's kind of a big week.
It's kind of a big week.
That we, we'll talk about Cinemacon just ended, so there's some stuff that came out
Oh
of
yeah.
there. We'll talk about some of that. We are a week away from Doctor Strange,
Absolutely.
which we have a lot to talk about. That I'm excited. Well, less than a week.
Super excited about that, and the final episode of Moonknight all in the same week. It's a big week. And we're prepping for a bigger week. This is a big week. We're prepping for a bigger week. Tons of news, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of hot takes from the industry itself.
Stuff and some good stuff and some not so good stuff. We'll touch base on all this crap. I'm excited because Doctor Strange is in a week. Well, for me, it's less than a week. I did get an early pass, not as I meant. I believe it was.
Did.
It was on it's on Wednesday, so not as early as I hoped it would be. But I figured it was going to be that much anyway.
Right.
So are we ready to talk about it on Thursday? Give a spoiler-free review or spoiler-filled. I don't know, whatever. But
right,
we'll get into it. Okay, but we'll talk about it. Obviously, we'll get into some Doctor Strange stuff. I know that they did screen some 20 minutes or so we'll talk about that stuff anyway.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yes, I'm excited, man. A week away. It's a big month. A big nerd month. Big nerd month. Doctor Strange.
Big nerd month.
Star Wars. Big Kenobi. We got Stranger Things. Moonknight finale. Sure.
Stranger Things. Like, look at it. Even stuff more than just a regular DC Marvel stuff. Well, listen, I love talking about this, but there is such a bigger world out there that when we can talk about a lot of it gets me really pumped up. So I'm glad a lot of stuff is coming out. A lot of stuff to talk about.
Top Gun's coming out. It got me all kinds of excited because I love me some Top Gun.
Listen. We all have to have one thing that is unlikable about us. Yeah. Luckily, you have like 17, and Top Gun,
one of the greatest
is one of
movies
them.
ever made.
Listen.
Period.
Listen. I understand. I like Top Gun. The first Top Gun I like. Whole Iceman Goose. Yeah. I mean, listen, classic cinema.
They screen a movie today. And it got some really positive vibes. So yeah. I'm excited. By the way. But let's get into it. Let's not start with Cinemacon yet. Let's just put that in the back burner for a second. There's either one bit of news there, and I need some clarification from you because you brought this to my attention.
Sure.
And that is Star Wars related.
Yes.
Andor.
Yes.
Of course, the series coming out, I believe. They haven't really made an announcement when it's dropping. I heard after Miss Marvel.
I heard a rumor earliest this year. Earliest would
That's
be
what
this
I
year.
Hear. I heard potentially after Miss Marvel. I'd be the next show after Miss Marvel. Before I heard after Mandalorian season 3. So I don't know. But I'll talk about the news that I did find out first because you had mentioned something with I couldn't find it, but I did find where they talked to one of the directors or the showrunner or whatever, and I didn't know this, but initially they had planned to do 5 seasons of Andor. Obviously, they already greenlit season 2, so that's usually a good sign, right? When they do that,
right?
But they actually cut that short, and now they scaled it back to 3 seasons, not 5.
Oh, okay.
All right. That's confirmed as per the director or whatever. So, okay, interesting. I don't think it really means anything. I just, maybe the story didn't warrant 5 seasons, which I could understand.
From what I understand, anything that goes on streaming, they're trying to cap it at 3 seasons. That's the average.
Sure, and I can see that, and I know this show really warrants more. I mean, until we see it, maybe, right? But so just getting it back, I know, but it was funny because I didn't know this, but the first season is supposedly 12 episodes, which is a big number. Yeah. And particularly for Marvel, for Disney, that I think the most they've done is what, 8, maybe?
8, 9, yes, well,
8, 9, maybe. I don't think they've done 10 yet. Maybe they have, but
no, they haven't broken double digits.
Right. Okay, I figured. So this is the first one. Bad Batch doesn't count animation. We're not going to count that, but yeah. So 12 episodes. That's pretty extensive. Surprising when I heard that. I was like, wow, that's a lot. Because usually with Ben Kenobi 6, and most of the last couple of Marvel shows 6, 8 Loki, I believe. Right. Wanda was 9, I think, and that was the first one. So yeah, I know you had mentioned that they were going to film 2 and 3 back to back. with the
And
next 18 months. But I couldn't find anything on that, to be honest with you. So I don't know.
I heard they're going to film 2 and 3 back to back because they're going on an 18-month shooting schedule.
Okay, that's
so
interesting.
For 18 months straight, not 9 break other 9.
Right,
It's
of course,
18 months straight. You're like, man, you can't do. You don't need 18 months for 12 episodes. You could do maybe 6 months for 12 episodes, not 18. So it sounds like they're gonna just jam log it and go, we're gonna do this so it comes out like 1 year and right immediately after the next year.
Perhaps.
Like there's no
I
way.
mean, I mean, they usually kind of give little time to breathe with these shows. I mean, again, it's a lot of post production work, so that always,
I mean, I feel like they're gonna give it a year.
Time.
They'll give it a year back to back. It won't be like, like Stranger Things, you had to wait like 2 years for one new season because they didn't know it was going to be this big and the whole thing. Or they're like, it's going to be one season and then next year, same time, second season. There is going to be no 2-year wait.
I know. I think, I got confirmation that they haven't started production yet in the second season. So, again, doesn't mean anything. But yeah, so well, I was curious though. I mean, nothing else. I mean, like I said, the whole shooting thing is unconfirmed. But as far as the shortened seasons, okay, and the 12 episodes is very curious. I'm not used to that anymore. I know a lot of shows came out at 12, 30. Now every show is usually 10, 8 or less. That's kind of been a status quo for and that's for like any show, not just Marvel or Disney, whatever. Any show.
A lot of people used to complain, like the problem with the Marvel series is like not all the series, but some of them had a problem with like the first 3 episodes are great, and then there was a lot of fluff in between, and then like the last 4 episodes are great, and so they just kind of took that. I think they heard so many complaints. Well, they just condense it and make it one like tight thing, but they're still trying to jam pack everything that was great about the 6 episodes out of a 13th season, and put in those side perspectives and going, we can make it all work. Like, no, just give us those really big 6 episodes back to back. That's all we really need. We don't need side tangents. Just give us 6 tight episodes.
Right. I mean, you can't. I mean, like, listen, if you do it well, a show can be 8 episodes, 10 episodes, fine. All right. I think 8 to 10 for me has always been a sweet spot for most shows, right? Because you don't get too overblown with side stories, and it's not as too tight or concise or too rushed. If you do 5, 6 episodes, you can feel kind of rushed. And we saw like, I think Hawkeye, I think, suffered from that big time.
A little bit.
Yes, but it happens. It is what it is. But so let's see. I mean, curious and just what the hell? Why not? But that out of the way, that nugget out of the way. Cinemacon. And there's so much we can start here. Let's start with the bad. Let's go to the bad.
Okay.
This is so, and that's Warner Bros. Presentation.
Okay.
A lot of footage, but there's one. I take it back. I stand corrected. Let's start with the bad, and that's really Sony.
Yes,
my part. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I was about to say. Really?
No.
Warner Brothers did a bad call. How surprising!
No. Warner Bros. stuff. Yeah, Warner Bros. stuff.
Steal the thunder from this one.
Warner Bros. is fine. They did nothing wrong. Sony though did something really good, which we'll talk about in a second, and something just I'm speechless. And that is, of course, they announced that they're going to make Lucha Libre. Is that am I saying that right? Or what's the name of the character, the Marvel character?
El Muerte.
El Muerte. I'm sorry, but it's about a luchador. I'm sorry, right? A superhero based off a luchador, right? It's got the mask, Mexican wrestling, whatever. I don't know anything about it. I'll let you kind of talk about that. But I guess it's a Spider-Man villain.
He's technically a Spider-Man villain. He's only showed up in 2 issues of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which isn't a series that exists anymore. So, I mean...
So he doesn't have his own like comic book or anything like that? I don't know.
No.
Really? Oh, I see
2 appearances. Issues 5 and 6 of a Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And that's it. That's it.
This news is getting worse. Okay, I didn't know. I thought he had a own comic line.
No,
he was like a little ancillary character.
Not even a little.
Wow.
No.
Okay, I did not know that. So
no,
but he's a villain, right? And obviously in the comics.
He's a villain who becomes a hero at the end because you realize that he's fighting Spider-Man because he's got to, due to their curse, he's got to beat someone in a wrestling match and unmask them. And
So it's an odd choice. Listen, I
It's not
liked
a
it.
it's not a choice. It is we're desperate to get new viewers. You're Hispanic and a musician. You're perfect for a movie, even though you have no acting experience
Yeah,
whatsoever.
because I mean, let's just get elephant in the room. For whatever reason, and I hate this guy, but again, I'm older, so it's not my thing. I get it. But Bad Bunny came on stage confirming he was cast as El Muerto. Bad Bunny. Bad fucking Bunny. Who the
For anyone who's ever had a
fuck
problem
thinks
with
Bad
Eminem
Bunny?
as a rap name, Bad Bunny is worse.
The name's probably the best part that he has. I think he's terrible. Again, that's just me.
Ah,
But what is Sony thinking?
it is stunt casting at its worst. It is everything that made Harry Styles Star Fox without any of the consideration on actually the character or the person playing that character. It's like we need eyes. You have like 10 million followers. Okay, cool. So if we get a quarter of those in the theater, we're covered. So whatever you want. And he's like, oh yeah, I want something Spanish. I get it. I'm like, oh, they're like, the Puma. No, he's Native American. Is there any heroes? None. They're all villains. Wow, that's racist. Okay. How about we make you a Spanish spider? Is there a Spanish? It is an Indian Spider-Man, not Spanish. Miles Morales. We're doing something with it. Marvelous. Damn it. Okay. Do you like lucha libre? And I'm like, yeah, I like that. He goes, okay, we got a guy. His name is El Muerte. He goes, that sounds like a superhero? Sure. It's like the Punisher. It sounds horrible, but he's really a good guy. You're an anti-hero. So, oh, I could be an anti-hero. Like, and you could do the soundtrack. Oh, do shit, bro. That'd be great to do it. And next you know, El Muerte. Like, he's doing the soundtrack. It is just to get
Obviously.
asses in seats. It's at best, what happened was they were reviewing Morbius, and somebody goes, I know what the problem with Morbius was. It wasn't Hispanic enough, and this character wasn't obscure enough. And they go, and the guy, and one of the executives says, hold my beer and call my kid and tell me who the most relevant Hispanic musician is right now. And we will get J-Lo, she's 51. All right, that's not going to work. Who else do we got? Bad Bunny. Bro, let's do this.
What happened to J.D. Smith? Passed over again.
It is a slap across the face of integrity.
Listen, I hope, I really do, that in 2 years, whenever this movie gets released, I'm eating crow and Bad Bunny hits out of the park. Whatever. But he is in a movie called Bullet Train coming out with one with Brad Pitt, which I heard is bonkers good. The show that the first 15, 20 minutes I said it was fantastic. Okay.
Oh, who is the lead actor in that movie again?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. So it's not Bad Bunny.
Not Bad Bunny, but he's in it. But I'm saying you get a sense of who he could be as an actor. I don't know. I doubt it seriously. Don't get me wrong. But maybe in his movie he's great. I don't know. I don't know how big a role he has. I have no idea. But
I'm sure
we're gonna get a taste of him on the big screen in this movie. So if he sucks in this film, it's not gonna get better.
I'm sure he will have the same emotional and story impact as Cardi B and Fast 9. No, it'll be that same level of like
question.
What
Listen,
really
we've seen
brought
these
it
guys.
to the table,
First of all, Pitbull's still out there. Hello, I'm just
joking. See, Pitbull is probably too old. He goes, I'm not gonna get in shape like that.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Bad Bunny's probably gonna be like, yo, you're gonna pay me to work out and I'll get ripped to be superhero. Cool, let's do that shit. Yeah.
I don't get
Mr. Worldwide.
I don't understand what Sony's doing. And I know they're doing this anti-hero shit fine. Like, I don't have a problem with the character being made. And listen, I give Sony credit for at least when I first heard, it's like, oh, doing a Latino superhero. We know DC's the only one that's put one out there, or is putting one out there. The only one.
Blue Beetle, correct.
Right, Blue Beetle, right. They've hired Latino actors, but not, Flash as Supergirl. But it's still not a main, feature starring a Latino character.
Right.
Super. So kudos for them to putting this. I'm all for that, absolutely, right? Even Marvel, I know they get a pass on everything because it's Marvel, but they've been the worst one as far as diversity between DC and Sony by far.
Well, technically,
by
you had
far.
Junior Falcon for Walking with a Soldier.
That doesn't. I
He
said
Jaime becomes a Falcon in the
a
comics.
feature film starring.
A
We
feature
got
film.
Black
Okay,
Panther took like
fine,
50
fine.
years
Feature
to make.
film. Feature
They
film.
gave us a woman, and after 30 some fucking movies, DC's giving us that in this movie too. Sony's giving. So I'm just saying Marvel's way behind. But that at least I'll give Sony credit's due. But this is
Better catalog. Marvel's got a lot of people to get to before they get to
I
that. So
get
that's,
that, but
being
I'm
honest.
just saying if you Donald Trump ain't running that shit, right? It's Kevin Feige. There's other than white people who are superheroes. That's all I'm saying. When DC can do it after the second film, giving us Wonder Woman, and then give us Cyber. Marvel could have done that after 5 years, not 10 years, and here we're year 14 after having a Latino superhero. 14 years. That's a long time. That's all I'm saying. But it's fact.
If it makes you feel better, Hispanics were never really good at getting places on time. So it's just one of those things where
that's a fair point. I know they, they'll cast Oscar Isaac, who's not Latino, and of course
he is.
He's not Latino, and they could have given this guy. It could have been Mark Gonzalez, not Mark Spector.
He is very Latino.
He's not Latino. You can't have a Latino actor not playing any Latino roles in
from
his
Miami.
life.
He's very Latino.
He's not Cuban.
He's
El
Salvadorian.
Like
I started off with Falcon the Winter Soldier. I didn't even get to Moonknight, and you said live action. And I was like, okay, live action movie changes it, so I can't even rattle my points.
There you go. I'm talking about
fair.
I'm talking about listen. Everybody, the black community is complaining. They got Black Panther. They're satisfied, right? Great. This time is our time.
You also had Rhodey, and you also had Falcon. So there was people coming in.
Stop.
Before Black Panther, there was already black characters in place. It's true. Heimdall, for Christ's sake.
I get it, but I didn't see a black community going, yeah, we got not a black person out there said
of
that.
Course not. Black Panther is the apex.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So forget these ancillary characters. That doesn't count. Black Widow doesn't count as a woman. It doesn't count. Okay. All that being said, I'm glad Sony finally did something, but man, this is how you do it.
To be fair,
they bungled a great idea. This is like
to be fair, the best Hispanic character in terms of popularity that Marvel has is Miles Morales right now. So,
which was really
and he's already doing Sony.
With Sony.
Yeah, I
know. Thank you for proving the point. But you know what I'm saying. But listen, we're half joking, but there's some truth to it. But at the end of the day, listen, Sony, great for doing it, but fuck, dude, really?
Listen, as a Brazilian, maybe it's because I'm patient. Because as a Brazilian, I have sunspots. So and he came out in New Mutants, which was the last movie of mutants from. He was also an X-Men past, but but he wasn't a speaking role. He was a background character at best.
True, you're right, 100%, absolutely right. So okay.
So I hear you complaining. I'm like, yeah, must suck to know you're up next, and not if you're up next.
So Sony, thank you, but listen,
I'm patient.
It wasn't all bad for Sony. That fucking Bad Bunny.
That being said,
we got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They brought out Lord and Miller. They gave out screened the first 15-20 minutes. I may be wrong on that. I had a friend who saw it and he told me some stuff. But Lord and Miller came out and they said this was the biggest animation film. I'm not sure they've done or anyone's done. I don't know. But
I think there's I heard the same.
In terms of people behind it. In terms of the production and the crew and all that.
Yeah, like the number of art studios and animators working on this is bananas.
I think the last one had like 700, so it's a substantial amount. Cool, and it's talking about how this one, like the first one, had like 40 characters. This has like 240 characters. That's crazy. It's like 6. I don't know if it's 6 to 8. I forget. I'm thinking it's 6, but 8 universes or whatever you want to call them are going to be featured in here. This is bonkers, crazy, man. I'm like, wow, 240. Wow, that's awesome.
Is Sony? Once again, Sony is business smart. Sure. Like artistically, it's garbage, but they know how to moneyball a project. They're like, listen, we gave you this amount of money and we won an Oscar and we made all this money not only with the movie but with the soundtrack. You do this again, we're going to give you more money, so you're going to make us more. And because we won an Oscar, there's going to be more eyes in the theater next time. People aren't going to be in doubt of it. It's going to be a fan of it.
Right, yeah, this would draw big
crowds.
Let's
do that.
Exactly. You're
absolutely
correct. Yeah,
absolutely.
In the first 15 minutes, I heard it focus on Gwen it's a not
Gwen Stacy,
right?
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
Right.
She's really heavily featured in the first 15 minutes. And they're saying
Nice.
it's really good. A lot of good story. Even got some emotional beats in there, which is surprising after the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it showed some footage with Miles and all that, traversing through some of these worlds. So, and my friends said it looked amazing. It looked really animation, same style, but looks even better, which is sure.
Dude,
right.
Honestly, I say this. I don't say this lightly. And you know how I feel about Sony projects as a whole.
Fair. Sure.
But the first 10 minutes of Into the Spider-Verse, I felt the same way after watching the first 10 minutes of The Matrix. I was like, what am I taking in? Like, it is so different than anything I've ever seen before that I was just in awe. I was like, wow. Like, it was. So I really hope that this is one of those sequels where they're not forgetting what made it great and they're doubling down on that.
What gives me confidence is Lord and Miller. They ran the ship first time, and they're back here, and they're great. Well, they're great except for Kathleen Kennedy, apparently, but everyone else thinks they're great.
But I mean, here's the thing: they directed the first one, they're producing the second one.
But they're involved in the story, but they're heavily into their thing.
Obviously, I understand all that.
They're spearheading it for whatever it's worth, right? It could have gone to someone else and gotten the shit, but it gives me more confidence knowing that they're still involved heavily in the project. So that's great. They love this project, so why not?
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
That gives me a little bit of hope. It does. I feel like it's a kind of thing where they saw what the producers got to do with the first one, and because the first was so successful, they're like, we want to go producer angle, so we tell the directors from the top down what we needed. Right, because no matter what Lord and Miller did, they had to do it in the constraints of what the producers said, and in their head, like, if we would have got to this would have been bigger. And now they're producing goes, now we tell you do it like this and make it, and it's gonna be exactly the way they want.
So this promises to be huge. Obviously, this many characters, all these words. It sucks that I got delayed to next year. Whatever.
And Oscar Isaac's in that too, by the way. Spider-Man 2099. So
hopefully they get a Latino in there. Why not? They got Miles Morales, so there you go.
Already done.
Maybe Jaden Smith is doing the voice. I don't know.
How dare you? Take that back. Take that back.
Bad Bunny. They're gonna sneak in a Bad Bunny character. Why not? Bring them all in here.
Keep Jaden Smith's name out your mouth.
Who's for Jaden Smith or Bad Bunny? I can't decide that, to be honest with
you. Jaden. I'm still sticking with Jaden. Because you know what? Bad Bunny made it on his own.
Touche. I'll take that. I would take that. Absolutely. So that was the big thing from Sony as far as the nerd stuff. DC. We're not going to talk too much about it. Because, listen, I heard some of the footage. It showed some Aquaman. It showed, some Shazam, Black Adam. What? I'm going to see those trailers coming up. But the one thing that caught my eye, because we talked about this last week, and that is, of course, The Flash. And so I was talking to my friend, so they showed a much bigger, longer trailer for this. And it's funny because we talked about, is this going to get released, Ezra Miller and his issues and whatever. So my friend was giving me the lowdown. He's like, it's funny because they were talking about setting up the introduction of the movie in the trailer, and they mentioned everyone's names but Ezra Miller. No big surprise. And he said that in the trailer they showed us as minimal Ezra Miller as possible. You have to show something because it's hard not to.
Sure, it's a Flash.
Right. But he said it was very Michael Keaton centric trailer, which better for the rest of us as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think it's all gonna be when you do see the Flash? It's all gonna be like behind shots and they're just ADR.
Maybe might as well. I guess I still know what's gonna happen this movie a year from now, but for whatever it's worth, they did show a trailer. It's funny because I don't know if you heard what they showed, Eric, but there was an extended scene. There was a scene in the trailer where Flash and there's a different version of himself in the back, and I guess Supergirl behind them.
Right, I remember that.
Right, and then I guess they're talking to Mark Keaton, Batman, of course. So they have that scene, longer scene, extended scene of that, where they show Mark Keaton. He's wearing, he doesn't have the cowl on, but he's got the suit. And I guess when I ask him, "Hey, you joining us?" or whatever, I'm paraphrasing. He's like, he has the line. He says, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." I'm sold. That's all I need to hear. Come on. That's all you need to hear. That's all. That's
pretty good.
You can take away some of what I care.
Pretty good.
So I think they show him on a bat cycle as well.
Okay.
Right here they really show more Supergirl in the suit, and it looks very Man of Steel-ish, which is great. I like the suit in Man of Steel.
Oh yeah, right.
So positive buzz about it. It was just strange because Ezra Miller stars. Well, we're not gonna say that. Here's his movie. We're not gonna show him. why not lean on Michael Keaton? You know what? Whatever. And which is funny because I know Batgirl, Matt Keaton's in it as well. The executives are talking about pushing that into a theatrical release, which is a good thing, right? They haven't decided 100% yet, but that's the conversations are being had, which is a good sign. Or I don't know if it's a good sign. It could be a good sign that they like what they're seeing, or the guy,
or maybe they were going to put Flash on HBO Max.
Well, maybe they should do that. But I mean, or the guy, I don't know if he's a genius now, but just common sense, put in theaters, make money. Duh. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. So maybe
I don't know if they're gonna make, but they may not be able to make money. They may be able to break even.
Well, that's fine. Best. But you put an HBO Max, you're not making any money. At least here, let's assume the movie bombs and makes $20 million. That's still $20 million, right? It's gonna make more than $20 million. But I'm saying, let's assume Morbius opened at 40 for Christ's sake. Morbius.
Fair, but Morbius, but Jared Leto hadn't been arrested twice for
no. I'm talking about Batgirl. I'm saying as far as Batgirl being released in theaters. Right.
Batgirl should be released in theaters.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, because the plan was HBO Max. Why not put in theaters? Even if it sucks or it's bad, he's still making money. It can open It can open what Morbius opened, for Christ's sake. Batgirl, come on, Michael Keaton.
Especially if your plan was to stream her, any money you make is a bonus.
What because you're exactly my point. So again, this is a guy common sense, and some guy common sense in the room at Warner Brothers saying, nah. This is what we should do, right? So hopefully, I think part of it because the movie's looking good. I hope so. And that's I hope. But either way, I think that one's probably gonna get delayed because I don't see that movie coming out before Flash. So with Flash being delayed to next year,
has to come out only after Flash.
Right. So the way to do it. It's the only way to do it. So that's probably gonna get delayed anyway because I think that was coming out early next year. So that's gonna get pushed, which is fine. I mean, you can't have it before Flash. That's when Keaton comes out. I assume it's something. Some connection there to it. So yeah. But still, I like the fact that he's thinking about it. Maybe that says that movie's good.
As I told you, all you got to do, make the Flash's mask become like a Iron Man mesh where it covers his mouth so you don't just see the eyes. And this way you can do whatever you want and it doesn't matter. And then at the end, it becomes the Flash from the CW.
He's always wearing the mask the whole 2-hour movie.
The whole time.
Maybe they can get away with it. I don't know. But
here's even better. Is that because he's multiverse traveling? There's like a TVA in the DCU, so he's got to put a hologram over him so they don't recognize him, so you can cast another actor the whole time. That's it. Fucking, you're welcome, DC. I fixed your problem.
There you go. So let's see. But those are the big things out of DC. We're gonna see some of these trailers soon enough. There's no question. Marvel, right? Her Marvel came out. They didn't show a whole lot in terms of they showed nothing of Thor. They showed very little bit of a few minutes of Black Panther, a scissor reel of which not a good game.
I heard about that, right. Yeah.
So it's not,
and I heard the scissor reel was essentially all the shots from the old movie, the first one. Right. Nothing about so it's just
so it's nothing really. Okay, whatever. And I think they announced. They did talk about Feige talking about getting everybody in the room to plan the next 10 years. So.
That's a pretty big. That's a big thing.
But that's their MO. So okay.
No, I disagree. But, I think this is a bigger statement.
But they always plan out years ahead, right? That's been their.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I think is different. I think that they are changing their plans, and that's why they're doing this. Because everything we're seeing right now has been pretty much what they had to plan or make plans, change plans since 2020, since the pandemic. This is where it's at. So,
I mean, as far as the movies, the stories,
and movies and TV, and I think they're gonna look back and see what worked, what didn't work, and taking the complaints of the fans. What have the fans been complaining the most? That the TV series aren't as big as the movies, and the movies, they like movies that were definitely under 2 hours and 45 minutes, and they like interconnectivity more than we've been receiving. And so I think that because they realized, listen, we have to change up the type of movies we're doing because one of the things I happen to like from Moonknight as an example of a series is we didn't get the standard origin story. Mm-hmm. We went already into it and then kind of told it backwards. Sure. So it doesn't kind of feel like, oh, here we go. Now the inciting incident. So it was different than what we've seen before. Let's not give them too much of an origin story, or if you do, introduce it in a very different way, and let's diversify our line, and let's create a Thanos, or let's double down on what Kang is supposed to be and make this shit work. I feel like this is going to be the one where now they get to not only do their Thanos, but their Thanos with Fantastic Four and the X-Men, and maybe even Daredevil in the rotation. Ghost Rider for sure. And I think they're going to try to do the next big Thanos that's going to combine all of this together. Which to me, you can make all this work with either Galactus, or you make it work with Doctor Doom, either doing Doom War or maybe a riff on the original 1980s Secret Wars where the Beyonder shows up and then Doctor Doom takes the powers of the Beyonder and becomes all powerful. Or Secret Wars itself, which is when the multiverse are collapsing into each other because of the Beyonders, plural, and Doctor Doom helps kill all the Beyonders and then reconstructs the last piece of reality called Battle World. And that, I mean, to me, that's what it feels like. Now they're going to make sure that the next 10 years, we're going to shift from Kang into the Beyonders and Doctor Doom and Secret War. And after that, maybe Feige retires. Because
about all that, but
I mean, he's already done 25 years at that point. Think about it.
I don't think they're not doing, and even Feige came out saying they're not doing Avengers, so we're not going to see a team up. That's paraphrasing his own words. Yeah, he came out. It wasn't a big deal because I knew that was a plan for a while back. He was not doing something like that. Even they asked Doctor Strange. He's like, Doctor Strange, like cornerback, like, don't look at me. I'm not even an Avenger, which is true. He's not. Because asking if he was going to lead, he was questioned by the press. Are you going to lead the next Avengers team? He's like, nope, I'm not an Avenger. So I don't think they're really planning for. And he's come on and said it. If I said it.
Really, that is totally shocking.
Yeah, like the Avengers that we know, we're not going to see something like that. So that's been established. I don't think they're going to go that route. They may do like mini team ups. I think that's where I would assume they're planning to do. Like, because again, you got Guardians and Thor. That's like its own thing. You can have the more grounded stuff and can maybe separate this kind of thing. I know they got multiverse. So I think they're trying to plan because of the possibilities now with Doctor Strange and what's opened up.
Well, Secret Wars is all multiverse, so that's what I'm saying. It would be the multiverse version of Thanos.
But they've already planned it already, so it's not like that's not part of the next plan. They already had this plan set up. The next 2 years with the films has been done. I think they're thinking beyond that because they're taking the stages, right? What are we doing for the next 5-10 years? This is what they do, right? So him saying they're going back, okay, that's just what they've always done, right? They planned the first 4 or 5 movies and then went back. Okay, it's phase 2, 3, 4. They plan the next 5. Because even when they bought Fox, it's like we have no plans for X-Men for 5 years because the plan has been set. Right, they may make small changes and things like that.
But they bought Fox. They bought Fox in 2018, 2019, 2017. Yeah. So that means their plan was until next year. They're done. So everything after 24.
Exactly. So, but everybody kept asking, "Oh, the X-Men, you know how it is. Oh, X-Men are coming now," and he's like, "Relax. We have a plan set for 5 years." Right? That's what he said. So they've had that. You know, they have an idea what's going on, but. He did come on and say that, so for whatever that's worth. So that's interesting. When we'll see, you know, we're not gonna get any ideas for a couple of years anyway. I think we got the next 2 years already filled. Obviously, maybe 3 years filled. I forget. Possibly. So we'll see what they do. Obviously, Doctor Strange is coming out. Whatever. We'll see what direction they're gonna go in. But Doctor Strange, and it's funny because like, and speaking of Doctor Strange, before we get to the footage and stuff, I know some things with the Illuminati, and you get the little. There you go. There was a story that came out because we had talked about Sam Raimi, right? And this perceived power that he has, and I said not a chance in hell.
Oh, I know exactly what you're gonna talk
and like about. I said, listen, when you play in Marvel Sandbox, you're just a guest. You're a kid. They give you the toys, and you do what you want to do to a certain degree. And we had discussion about
don't break it. Don't break it.
Right? Yeah, don't mess it up. But you have to do this, and that. And you know, we kind of had a discussion with Raimi, how that kind of control. And the story came out saying that, and Dr. Bruce Campbell, who came from Bruce Campbell, who's going to be in the film, obviously because it's him and Sam Raimi like this, right? And they asked him a question about, he brought up things like there was a lot of reshoots that need to be done, reshoots that were not planned, and they forced Raimi to take away some scenes and force new scenes onto his film, right? Goes back to what I'm saying. Marvel, any director has no control there. You can have the style, all that, which is why when James Gunn is away from Marvel, you get a James Gunn movie. We saw that and show, right? That's you know, the epitome of what James Gunn does, what we saw when he did it with DC, not with Marvel. You're playing the sandbox. I mean, Raimi, as good as he he has no power. He has nothing. He just, yes sir, I gotcha. His style will be in the film, right? Obviously, that's his filmmaking style. But the story beats and all that, that's all Marvel, right? So it comes out like shit, you blame Marvel. Don't blame Sam Raimi. But listen, but I've heard they've been doing that a lot, and it works for them. So that's great. You only hear about it when it doesn't work, because every studio interferes. Every fucking studio does it. Warner Bros., DC. The reason why people give Warner Bros. A bunch of shit because what they did didn't work. But when it works, nobody says a word. Every movie that the Warner Bros. Has made, the good ones, I guarantee you there's been interference by the studio. I guarantee it. Maybe Chris Nolan might be the only one. Maybe Spielberg, guys who have complete autonomy, right? And they've earned it. But anybody else, I guarantee you. And Marvel does it. Everybody complains, oh, DC interferes. Marvel interferes, if even more. They just do it well. They just do it well.
At the end of the day, man, that's why all the props goes to Feige, because he created the tone. He knows what he wants, and he picks the people to deliver it.
Exactly. Right, it's his plan. So no question about it. But Doctor Strange. So they showed the first 20 minutes of this film. And I didn't get too much detail because I didn't want to know much. But
fair.
I heard that 20 minutes are awesome.
Cool.
And it starts off like, from what I was told, guns blazing from the beginning. Like, boom.
Nice.
You get Strange and, speaking of Latino characters, Chavez.
American Chavez, all right.
So she'll probably get a solo movie in 2047. So that's good. So fingers crossed on that. But so I started with them in that scene in the trailers, and I spoiled it, where they're running through, and then there's a scene where they transition to fighting that what's that tentacle thing in the streets?
Oh, gigantic.
Yeah, that's in the first 20 minutes as well. They're transitioning to that scene, and it's like fast paced, incredibly fast paced. A lot of stuff being thrown at you. Super fucking cool shit. Wong, I heard, is awesome in his first 20 minutes. Very exciting. I mean, the rest of the movie could suck. I have no idea.
So wait, you mean to tell me that the movie already starts off with America Chavez and Doctor Strange with it, like in it?
Yeah, in it, yes. Already, like they're in it. It's like, it's not like, they didn't meet somewhere. The shit's already, she's running away from somebody. I think from the tentacle creature. What I forgot the name you told me.
But are you sure this is the first 20 minutes or just 20 minutes of the movie?
The first 20 minutes of the film. It opens with that sequence.
Okay. All right.
I mentioned some Wander stuff in there. I don't remember if they showed her or not. I don't know. They talk about, there's a line that my friend told me. I wish he had told me this, but he's like, I think Wong says, he's like, I don't know. He's like, this is not sorcery. This is witchcraft. When it comes to multiverse, so that hello.
Okay.
Put two and two together. We know what exactly he's referring to. But I heard it's great. I heard its first 2 minutes are really good, man. A couple people told me they really liked what they saw. It's a lot. I'm sure the movie will slow down. I'm sure they pick that time when the movie slows to a crawl. It needs to, right? It can't be all. I love action, but we gotta do some story here. So at some point, yeah. So I assume after the first 20 minutes, it takes which is fine. They should take a break in. Okay.
maybe that's why the movie's only 2 hours long. It's just non-stop.
They cut all the shit out. I was like, we need this. We introduce who now? And I heard she's a really good character. Like, the people really liked her character. Like, she came out really well.
So essentially, she's co-starring. That's pretty good.
Well, I don't know how long she's been in the film.
Representation.
It could be just in the first 20 minutes, for all we know. And then because he's in a different universe, and he goes somewhere. Like I said, let's see. I don't know.
Okay.
Like we said, but so far, first 20 minutes, I don't think we're getting 50% Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay. We're not getting 50% Doctor Strange. So,
but maybe we are. We don't know.
We still got an hour and 40 minutes left. But I'm saying, if that's a representation, the rest of the movie we talked about, this is not going to be a Doctor Strange movie. It's not. I heard.
I'm sorry, but
it's not.
Listen,
which is fine.
Them's a break.
Which is fine. It is what it is, right? So good buzz, man. I like, it got me excited. Okay, good. I'm glad. Hopefully, the rest of the hour 40 is great too. But
I'm super excited.
Yeah, super excited.
I've seen none of it, but I want to.
Yeah, they talk. I mentioned they talk about the multi-universe, and they just out the gate they're talking about the stuff. It's there. It's in your face already. There we go. Fine. Guns blazing. Perfect. I prefer it that way, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Get us into the story. To get us okay. There's no build up, and then whatever. So
I want this to be the superhero Marvel equivalent of Mad Max Fury Road, just nonstop.
That's probably one of the only few movies that can get away with doing something like that. because it's very deep.
Shiny. Oh, nice and
But
shiny.
I don't.
I want that.
You can't do 2 hours of multiverse and explain multiverse again. Unfortunately,
I never said they were going to explain it. I said they were.
They're just gonna go from one place to another. Hey, look, there's Professor X. Hey, whatever. Big surprises that are coming out. You know, all these secrets coming out. So whatever. I mean, let's see. I was kind of curious to see what the Sam Raimi cut would be like. This film. I'm so curious. What would be kind of cool. What was cut out? What was added? Cool. I would like to maybe the DVD knows those are extras. I mean, I don't know if they'll.
If we could literally ask for like release the Sam Raimi cut, and then I want to see. You could do that as like and Marvel totally would. They're like, oh, you want to see this non-canon multiversal option? We'll call the multiverse. Want to see
this crap that Raimi was giving us? No, I don't know. I'm not saying they stepped in because it sucked. That's not. That's just what they do, right? Sure. But yeah, so listen, I'm curious. I'm excited about it. Obviously, I'll drop a review on Wednesday night when I see it. We'll talk about it on Thursday on the show. I'm sure it's gonna be great. But I'm gonna really. Oh, I wish I could stop watching it. Every time the show Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm gonna time it, see how long he's on how much screen time he has. Okay, he was on there for 48 minutes, less than 50%.
Jose, you're gonna watch this movie like you're doing a survey count. Like,
yeah. I want to know how much screen time this guy has. So obviously I'll mention, the extensiveness of his role in the film.
Sure.
I won't mention any surprises because I don't want you to be surprised and want you guys to be surprised out there. But yeah, unless you want me to tell you surprises. I can't.
We'll see how I feel next week.
Yeah, maybe you want spoilers. I know sometimes you like spoilers, sometimes you don't.
I know.
Whatever. It is what it is. We'll dive into that. So I'm excited about that. And that was really the big thing for Marvel and for anybody else. I know we're getting whatever it's worth. Speaking of Doctor Strange, they're releasing the Avatar trailer. Okay. Whatever. I mean, listen. I know people. I don't know what people hate on Avatar. I really don't.
I feel like Avatar is Stephen Grant episode 1. Steak time. Steak. It's Sunday. No. It can't be Sunday. I thought it was Friday. I lost 2 days. That's what Avatar is coming in way too late.
Really, they're giving it a well done steak. It's blasphemy. I don't know. Whatever. But people love to hate the movie. I don't know why. People liked it when it came out. It sucked. I don't get it, but whatever.
Listen. When I went to see the movie, I thought the movie was fantastic, but I laughed out loud when they said the metal they were mining for was unobtainium. I laughed out loud. No one else seemed to get how bad of an idea that was to call it. And I walked out and put like, yeah, it was a great movie. Yeah. It was ridiculous, but it was a great movie.
I forgot when I told you that somebody ripped that off in another movie using unobtainium.
After the fact, you told me we had a whole.
God, what? I forgot. I'm not dying to know what movie that was from, but they used unobtainium. I was like, oh my god, it wasn't good then. It's not going to be good now.
Every time they use it, it's been bad. It's never been like, oh, these guys nailed it. No, it's just.
Or was it reverse and James Cameron? Now I'm gonna look that up. I gotta find that movie. Yeah. I forgot what movie that was. God damn it! But I'm gonna try to find out because.
All right,
I don't remember if it was somebody bit him or he bit somebody else with that. So I don't know.
Either way,
yes. Somebody called him Mencia, but he Mencia a bad joke. Yeah. So that being said, we know what's coming up, Eric. I know what you're itching to talk about. I know it.
It's time for some motherfucking Moonknight, son.
Moonknight Episode 5.
Yes. And I gotta tell you,
off the bat, I gotta say this off the bat, because where the fuck is this third personality? We said they should have come out.
We saw it.
Did we?
That's my theory. We saw it. You want to know how I know?
So let's start there, because now I gotta hear this. Go ahead.
All right, we saw it because spoiler alert for episode 5 right now. This episode really focused on legit the origins of not only Moon Knight but of Mark Spector. Right. Like, what's his whole back? And a lot of people are being kind of saying like, oh, every penultimate episode of a Marvel series, the character has a revelation. I'm like, yeah, but this is not your typical revelation.
I agree with, I hate this kind of episode before the finale. I really do. I like this how they did it here, but I'm saying just the idea of it, I can't stand when I heard like, oh,
you're absolutely right. The idea of it, I don't like it, but
it worked here. It worked here. But either way, let's not. I mean. Please.
So
enlighten me on this.
Find out you see how Mark created his dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality. But the thing that he accidentally is responsible for letting his brother die, just
Right.
by kids having fun, and his mom breaks, like mentally she snaps, and she goes on a self-destructive spiral where every day she's literally blaming Mark for the death of her son, like saying that he wanted him to die, that he's always been jealous of him. She literally, like, I blame him. And sometimes it got so bad that she would physically whoop the crap. Like, as kids of the 80s, you and I, we've experienced or have seen our friends take those kinds of whoopings. But we also have had those friends where they got whooped so much we felt bad for them. Like, that's not right anymore. Like, there's a line.
There's always a line.
And
But yeah, we did get
and
whooped.
Mark Spector is one of those kids who got crossed the line a lot. And not only do you see that the reason why Stephen Grant is there is because he wanted to break away from the beatings his mom got, but also Stephen Grant is a personification of, regardless of all that, that's still the love he has for his mom. Mm-hmm. So to the point that you in the episode you literally see the Stephen personality not only be born right before she goes in to beat the crap out of him, but at one point he comes into play and picks up the phone, and you can clearly see it's not a phone call. He's talking to his mom, even though there's no one on the phone. And you're like, wow, that's insane. But the theory I have is if Mark created Steven to be the personification of his mom's love because he didn't feel it, and to reject violence so much because of what his mom was doing to him. Yeah. That's why Steven also is like, I don't like fighting, because this is all into like connection to like what his mom was. I think that when Steven was getting beat, he needed to break away to preserve that love that he had for his mom. And so he created another personality that took the beatings. And that personality is Jake Lockley.
It's possible, but
which is why
they didn't really allude to it,
right? Wait, I'm not done yet. Whoa, easy, cowboy, easy. You gotta let these hot dogs boil to a roast. You can't just go in eating like this. You gotta let it go, like get all boiled up, man.
Pre-cooked, so let's eat them, dude.
And no, you gotta wait. You gotta make it feel delicious on the bread with the mustard and the mayonnaise. That's how it goes. Nice. So yeah, shut up. That's how I eat. So it's the reason why Jake Lockley killed those three thugs. It's because he's like, I am this rage. And in the beginning of episode 5, they cut to Mark in the office of his doctor, and he is beat the fuck up. He's got that bandaged nose, and if you notice the way he's talking, it sounds a little New Yorky, like, yeah, doc, you're really, really good over here. Like, I feel great. I should get out of here. Like, that whole nervousy, that's Jake Lockley. He sees himself as beaten because of what his mom did to him, and he reacts aggressively and violently because of what he is. He is the rage of being beaten. And so that's Jake Lockley. And I think we seen Jake for the first time and didn't even realize it.
That could be true. But I just I would have seen it.
Well, I think they're going to be one of those things where they reveal the Stephen Mark aspect. I'm going to show them reveal the Mark Jake aspect, because unfortunately in this episode you find out that Mark has been dying. Mm-hmm. He's traveling the Inuit, which is the Egyptian afterlife. Yep. And as they go through a voyage of self-discovery between each other, where you discover what led to the DID and how they interact with each other and what they mean, and each one's personal, well, actually not each one of Mark's personal guilts and responsibilities. You see all that. Steven sacrifices himself to save Mark, mm-hmm. falls into the sands, and becomes frozen in the sand. And I think this is the way the show is going to handle not overwhelming you with personalities, because I feel like Jake's going to come in because Steven's personality has died in the Egyptian afterlife. And I think that's how we're going to see that shift of like responsibilities taken. Like, just when you think it's over, there's another one who's been there the whole time.
So Steve's done? You think we're not going to see him again?
Oh, no. We're going to bring him back. Oh, okay. But for this series, it'll end on that.
Oh, you mean like we're not going to see him in the series anymore? Whoa. So you're saying we're going to see him in the series?
I just think we're going to see him again. I think the big announcement when episode 6 airs is there's going to be either a season 2 or a movie where he's going to show up, and that's going to evolve.
There's no season. I think we didn't talk about this, but there was some confirmation with Hawkeye and this.
Oh, no, we talked
about it.
No,
but something came out afterwards that they weren't going to do season 2. That was I know
but I know
that was
I know
Oscar
they
Isaac
announced.
talking about it, but saying they talked to someone. And it wasn't Feige or someone else up who said
I
they're not.
I've heard this all over the place, and that's why I said I think they're gonna say there is a season 2. Haha, gotcha. Or it's gonna be an announcement of a movie, because you can't wrap up not only the Harold storyline, the Amit storyline, the Layla storyline, and the Steven storyline in an hour. If they give us an hour, who
That's my
knows?
concern with this final episode, and I was gonna get to that. I mean, it feels like it needs one more. I will wait and see, but they're still there. I mean, they have to with the rescue Steven. I don't know. And they got the whole Jake thing, and hello, we still got the villain, right? We got to deal with that at some point. It seems
It's
like
a
it's a
lot.
lot, right? It's not just me. Like I don't be
No,
pessimistic,
no,
but
you're absolutely right. It
it
is a
seems
lot,
like a lot
and
to wrap up and 50 whatever they're gonna give us. I'm concerned
who knows
about that.
if we get 52, we might get 40. Like we don't
Well, I
know.
hope.
That's the
Well,
thing. We
goddamn,
don't.
I hope not. I really hope not. But so that's a concern there, because I really,
There's a concern. I'm
yeah,
concerned,
I'm like,
and
wow, this
only
is a lot,
because
man. It's like, what are
here's
we doing here?
here's here's why I'm so concerned. Because the series has been great.
Agreed.
I
Yeah, it's really
really
good.
enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like it's not amazing, but
No,
it's
but it's really good. It's a
solid.
really good show. I'm enjoying it. Absolutely.
And I know there's people complaining like, oh, there's not enough Moonknight. I go, yeah,
It's
but
true.
you're getting look. But here's the thing. I always go back to what Stan Lee said. No one's here to see Spider-Man. They're here to see Peter Parker become or be
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
No, absolutely.
You have to know the person under the mask to give a crap about it when he puts the mask on.
Agreed.
So
Yeah.
for everyone who's like, there's not enough Moon, I was like, yeah, because we're getting to know Mark Spector. So when he puts that on, you're like, holy shit, things are gonna get bananas. Because this dude, you don't know who's under the mask now. So it might change the dynamic of
No,
everything.
and I
So
don't mind. Listen, if you're not gonna give us Moon Knight, replace it with something good, and they've done that, right? If they would have given us a mediocre show and there's the Moon Knight, oh, okay, what are we doing here, guys? But they're
absolutely.
giving us good
Absolutely.
content. This is a really good episode. Okay, fine. I can deal with not having Moon Knight because they're giving us something else to watch. That's
Yeah.
good. It'd probably be better, to be honest with you. But yeah, dude, it's a lot. I'm worried, man, because you're right. It's a lot to wrap up. It feels like it might be rushed. I don't want to see that. Not from this show.
That's
You know?
I don't think it's gonna be rushed.
Or,
I
or,
think I think they're gonna focus on like 2 out of the 6 aspects that need to get resolved, and they're gonna focus on those 2, which is gonna suck because you're gonna be like, what about those other guys? What about those other guys? We're gonna focus on these 2,
yeah.
and I think that the last 4 minutes of it is going to hint at that they know they didn't resolve these 4, and look at where this is going to be taken off to, and where does it go? Who knows? And then you're gonna. I need to hear. I need to see the Moon Knight will return, or Moon Knight will return in a movie. I need that. I need that.
It's gonna be I think I think we're set up more for disappointment than anything else.
When Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended, and I was like, oh, I'd like to see this again, but like, whenever. Yeah. When Loki came back, I was like, oh, that's cool. That'll be looking forward to, because there's so much. Like, I have not felt I want to see what happens next about a series since Loki. Loki is the last one the first one, really. Even though Wanda had that thing, I was like, well, I'll see that when it comes out. But Loki, I was like, I want another season.
But what Loki did was any good show needs to do in its finale is close your storylines and opening up something new, and that's exactly what Loki did, right? It closed everything up, and then open up this multiverse. Oh, here we go.
I feel like Moon Knight's going to do a version. I would have said they'll focus on some aspects to bring total to close, but let you know they didn't forget about it, and it's still out there, and they'll lead to these things. But we're going to let you imagine about that.
It depends what they close, no close. I guess that remains to be seen. I don't know. I mean,
right? Exactly.
They might rush the fight with this guy. We got to get to that now, and I don't know. I
don't think they're going to rush the fight. I think this is going to be this is going to essentially they're going to focus primarily. They're going to focus on the Harold storyline by giving you a big Moon Knight fight with Harold. I think that's going to be it.
I would assume, yes, that they should do that.
I mean, I feel like that's where they're saving the budget for. That's what Marvel always does in the last episode. Right. They go all out on their last episodes. I get it. Mm-hmm. So here's the one thing I will say. We talked about last episode about Moon Knight having a brother, and we got to see his brother. I was like, oh man, cool. We just talked about this. And mind you, we're the only show that talked about Moon Knight having a brother and what they would do with him. And they showed him, and they changed the storyline because of the comics. Mark Spector breaks because he finds out the rabbi his community rabbi uh, was actually a serial killer who was a former Nazi. And he walked in and saw him like murdering his like Jewish victims, and that's what made him break for the first time and create a have a new identity come out.
Like overkill.
Well,
A
it's
serial killer
comics.
Nazi. You could just do a Nazi or a serial
No,
killer.
because
You have to do both.
wait, you
gotta do both.
but you gotta remember in the comics originally, Mark's father was a rabbi who survived the Holocaust. And he was like, "Why did you fight them? Why did you give in so easily to the Nazis?" And that's what led to like his resentment. Like he made him become more of a man of action.
Fair enough.
So they once again rather extreme, but you have to have these extremes for comics. It's melodrama.
Yeah,
it's soap opera for kids.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I got you.
So to me, I thought it was really interesting where they took the brother aspect. And they took the father's like passiveness aspect, and they took about traumatic experience and made it both not as extreme but equally as dark, because the kind of like psychological and physical abuse Mark went through and to that level is just as disturbing, I think, as if you walked in and you found a Nazi serial killer who's pretending to be your neighborhood's rabbi.
Damn those Nazi
I know they're all over the place. Never trust them. Punch a Nazi when you see them. Don't trust them. They're bad people. So like that's what I'm saying. Like that to me, I liked this take even more, and it made me think if they get rid of the brother. What did I say last episode? If they don't do the brother for whatever reason or get rid of him, you can make Harrow become the character that his brother is in the comics, which is Shadow Knight, because he said he was a former Moon Knight. Yeah. So to me, when I saw his brother die, I was like, Harrow's fucking Moon Knight, Shadow Knight. I know it's gonna happen. I'm super excited. And what better reason to have a big, over the top superhero fight than seeing Moon Knight fight a Shadow Knight? Is it a classic? Oh, it's a hero fighting an opposite villain himself. Yes, absolutely. But guess what? Up until 2022, Moon Knight really hasn't had the best rogues gallery. His main guy was Bushman, and you heard him referred in this episode when you saw him talking about how he became a mercenary, which I thought was great. Everything you saw about that scene where he talked about how he went on a fugue state while being positioned in the military, so they discharged him. That's straight from the comics. Okay. When you saw Mark Spector's body wounded and bleeding, crawling through the sand into the Temple of Khonshu, that is like panel for panel shot, just like in the comics. I thought it was great. Even the idea of like when you saw Mark and his brother going to the cave that eventually led to his little brother's death, you saw Mark step on like the bones of a dead bird that looks like Khonshu's head. Was Khonshu setting him up? Like, did he pick him as a child and set things in motion to be able to get him? Who knows? Like, are they implying that? Like, is Khonshu that manipulative to get his end goal? Or is Khonshu like, well, this sort of happens, so I'm going to take advantage of this? Like, you can be selfish, but are you a manipulative asshole? That's, there's a big drop between two. So all that was fantastic. I'm so in on I know some people are complaining about this episode of the series about not enough Moon Knight, but I'm like, we're getting so much Mark Spector that when they do the season 2 or the movie or whatever it is, we're going to be so hyped when he puts on the suit, because now we understand what it means and what could be going on.
He's putting it on next
That's
episode.
Going to be so awesome.
Obviously, he's putting on next episode. Listen, I hope it ends well. I'm just a little concerned because there's a lot there that's still on the table with 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is to do. It's a concern. That's all I'm saying.
One last thing. If you've been paying attention, in every few episodes of Moon Knight, there are QR codes where if you scan it with your phone, you'll get a free Moon Knight comic. There's one episode 1. There's one episode 2. This episode, there's a QR code again. If you scan it, you will get to download your own digital copy of Moon Knight #1 from 1980 from Doug Mank. This is the first Moon Knight ongoing. You'll get this for free on your phone. So get that guys. If you're a Moon Knight fan, this is
during the credits it pops up, or
no? It's when they're in the sane asylum and they're looking through the doors on the side panel, like where the room number should be. There's a QR code. You'll get this.
That's kind of cool. That's very cool. I didn't. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay.
This is what you get me for. So I nerd-explain to you how awesome that is. See?
There you go.
The show in action.
There you go. So I'll forget the fact that you killed your brother, who was a serial killer Nazi.
No, the brother became a serial killer. True, Hatchet Man, eventually Shadow Knight, but he got multiple identities because of watching a serial killer Nazi who was pretending to be Jewish, a rabbi in his neighborhood. Listen, it's classic superhero story 101. Boy meets girl, finds out their rabbi is a Nazi serial killer. What are you gonna do except dressed up all in white like you're the most acceptable clan member and beat up on villains that aren't minorities? I mean, there are some out there, but like, well, there's bad people and all sects of people. I get it. No, I understand. Just make sure you're attacking the Nazi Jewish serial killers the most if you're going to do it, and you're fine. You got to pass in my book.
Oh boy, they. Either way, so. And with that.
And with that, guys, this is the end of our show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in for Nerdsplaining, where we take it always a little bit too far, but just the right kind of way. And we appreciate everything. Don't forget to follow us on all the social medias. We're at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ on Twitter. If you're enjoying this show, you can find every episode of Nerdsplaining on the visual videos here on YouTube at the Nerd. I'm drawing a blank. The Nerding Latin Nerd Network. Thank you. I'm drawing a blank. I remember all the other shows. Like you can see the Watch List. You see Thanos' Choice, and more shows are working on to come. But on the Latin Nerd Network here on YouTube, we appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The more people that like and subscribe, it helps us out. Make a little bit more money. We can do more of these videos, and then we don't have to work anymore. We just talk about this all the time. Fantastic. And then I can get more stuff in the back that we can talk about that has to do with the things we're talking about. And if you want to hear all the original audio episodes, don't forget to go to ericdasilva.com, EricDasilva.com. All the original audio episodes are there in the landing page. And while you're there, don't forget to pick up my album, Adorably Offensive, available on all the Amazons and Spotify's. And yeah, I'm still on Spotify because I'm lazy. So, eventually I'll take it off, for the cause. But until then, it's there. And Apple, all that, you can download it. All the money comes to me. And I pay people, but you get it. Just buy the album. I appreciate it. It's very nice. And also, don't forget that I think that's it. I think I covered everything.
Pretty sure.
I think everything. Sure. Well, guys, if that's the case, that's the show. I am Eric Da Silva. That is Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Bam. Boom.